from behind the bowl.
Yes, sir. Oh, baby.
Cheers, my guy.
Cheers. Chocolate.
All right, Gilbert, my guy.
Morgan.
Gilbert Gallahar. One of the best Tongan American men I know. How you doing, my guy?
Morgan Smith. Only knows one Tongan American.
That's you. Where are we at, dude?
Two. We are on the greatest Kava farm in America. Isn't that weird? To me, I was thinking it's weird when they say in America when it's Hawai'i.
Yeah. Hawaii doesn't seem particularly American.
Right?
Yeah. A little bit weird.
Foreigners always talk about it. Well, remember that time when we were mixing with that lady from, where was she from? Denmark?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, but they're American. Talk about Hawaii. I was like, nah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff, man. A lot of people involved with a lot of feelings, a lot of opinions, a lot of history behind there, a lot of context. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so we're on the big island of Hawaii.
Yes.
Hawai'i. And this is the first time that you're visiting the farm here.
First time I'm here. I don't know if they can see it, but over there, like, that's Hilo over there. So we're overlooking Hilo.
Yeah.
And a lot of Kava.
A lot of Kava. So we got introduced together from your sister, right?
Yes.
Your sister finds out some random white dude owns a Kava company. I'm out there slinging Kava, and she's like, hey, my brother loves Kava. And I was like, that's cool. I love Kava.
Hey.
How many years ago was that?
Bro, I couldn't even tell you. And I think it's just because I'm getting old where it's like all the years like run together.
Yeah.
Because like to me it seems like it was last year. But then we look at the calendar, it's like, what was that?
No,
2020?
It was a while ago, man.
Yeah.
It was years ago. And then we got synced up. She was like, hey, you got to go hang out with my brother. And I said, fine, deal. She was like, do me a favor. So I said, okay, fine. I'll do you a favor, Miss Ofa. And then...
He needs a friend.
Yeah. She said, he's a real loser. And I was like, me too.
Like, no friends together.
Very helpful, actually, you know, when you don't have any friends and then you can find someone to hang out with. So we started mixing Kava together a couple years ago.
Yeah. That was a funny story of how I invited you over to the Valley of the Roots.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows what Valley Roots is, Morgan has been to every single one.
Not true. There's one that I missed.
Okay. He was there at the first one. That's what I can tell you.
The 2024 is the only one I did not attend. So Valley of the Roots, tell everyone what the Valley of the Roots is.
So Valley of the Roots, so a lot of the clubs, Kava clubs in Arizona, they got together and said, hey, you know what? Arizona has great Kava and a great Kava community. How about we have an event that is free for everybody who drinks Kava to come and enjoy what we love, right? And it's been successful.
Yeah, meaning like hundreds of people go to this.
Yes.
Which is crazy, right? Because it's like, it's an ordeal, right? They're renting out ballrooms at hotels that are really expensive. And then they're providing Kava, which is really expensive. And they're providing food, which is really expensive. And they're doing all of it for free. Out of the kindness of their hearts, just because they love the community, they love sharing Kava, they love BYU, and...
Nope. Sorry. No backward hat BYU fans here.
Okay, fine.
Well, so what I think is amazing about Kava is I really think it saved so many people's lives. Like, indirectly, directly, there is a culture that was going on within my community, the Tongan American community, where it was like, this is gangland, you know what I'm saying? It's time to shoot up or whatever. With this Kava thing, like that's changed. I'm not saying that it's gone, but instead of getting together, drinking beers, getting heated and starting to fight each other, now we're mixing at the bowl.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation. But to me, I think like when you have a conversation behind the bowl, bro, that's some of the best conversations.
It's true. I mean, and what's crazy to me too is you've introduced me to a ton of different people in the Tongan community that I never would have had a chance to talk to. And that is only through Kava.
Yeah.
Right? So like I have very little in relation to these guys, right? Like some of them are different ages, they come from different backgrounds, and yet the one thing that we have that kind of keeps us kind of keeping, circling around is the bowl.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's some power in the bowl. You told me a long time ago that like all of the basically the guys that were around the bowl were the ones that gave you a lot of wisdom.
Yes.
Right? And like you learned a lot from those guys.
Absolutely.
Do you think that is also contributing to kind of the reduction in gang violence or like some of the issues that Tongan Americans are seeing?
Yes. Like, so I don't want to get twisted, there's obviously some bad acts that happen around the ball, right?
Yeah.
And that more goes to those guys that are around there. It's like, if you go to the mix to learn something, you're going to learn something. If you're going there to escape something, you're going to escape something. Like, you're going to find it, whatever you're looking for. But what's nice is when you have some of these OGs out there that have all this wisdom, and then you got these young cats out there that have this thirst for knowledge, and they're willing to share. Like, the Kava loosens the tongue. It's like, hey, don't do that. Do this. Try this. Been there, done that. And like, we all come from different walks. Like, even in the Tongan community, right? Not everybody is a CFP. Not everybody went to college. Not everybody owns their own business. But they have aspirations too. Yeah.
And who better to learn from than guys that are older who have been through a lot, right?
Amen to that.
Pretty dang cool, man. Do you feel like I mean, okay, so at some point, right, there must have been times where Tongan Americans didn't have as much Kava in the U.S. At least you kind of insinuated it a couple of minutes ago. You were like, yo, like, Kava is what's keeping guys away from that kind of a lifestyle. Is that true that at some point there was not as much Kava out there for these guys, or what would, or am I like reading into something that is not true?
Well, I don't know if it is true or not. Only because, like, growing up, my parents had some Kava in the basement that I swear had been there like 10 years before I've been alive, right? Like,
it was probably some primo 15-year-old Kava. It's from Iowa, right? It's this royal Kava that everyone's always feasting for. No, it was from Vava'u. I know you guys and your allegiances. Okay, sorry. So it's some 15-year-old Vava'u Kava. It was primo, sitting in there getting wasted, just sitting.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just waiting for the right conversation.
Oh.
Just like everything. It's like timing. The timing has to be right for it to excel.
Yeah. So it eventually pulled you in.
Oh, yeah.
You saw these bags and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna make use of this stuff.
Well, let's backtrack, right? So, like, I don't know. there's a point in I say every man's life where there's a crossroads. Like, what am I gonna do in this world?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, what am I gonna do? Do I go to school longer? Do I even go to school? Do I go to work? Do I take this job? Take that job? It wasn't until I sat behind the bowl that I found myself really, and found out what I'm comfortable with. And it was more because the guys that were there were sharing their stories with me. And I was like, oh, okay. Don't touch the stove because it's hot. Right? Something similar like that. Like, but it opened my eyes. It was like, oh, this is actually a place where I can come and we're all equal because the bowl is circle. Like, we're in a circle. There's no head of the table.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's, knowing that you were raised in the U.S.,
yeah,
right? And so your parents, they came from Tonga,
both of them, yep.
And do you feel like you have missed out on some of the culture that you would have had if you were raised on the island?
So I remember being like 8, 9 years old, and you go to these functions. Didn't even know if it was like a reunion for high school. My parents' high school. My mom, she went to Leahona High School.
Shout out.
Right. So like they always had these cultural events or these reunions where you saw the tradition where the kids were dancing. And I remember turning to my dad. I was like, Dad, I want to do that. Like, I want to do that. I want to like, I saw that. It was a beautiful thing. And even now for my kids, right? I married a Palangian girl, French, aujourd'hui, so
I'll bet she loves it when you do that.
Yes. There was always a way that I had to find a way to bring culture back to my family.
Yeah.
So my dad found it for me. Shout out to Auntie Marguerite in Mesa, Arizona. She's taught so many people how to dance and do cultural stuff. And for my boys, I had to bring them to the Tongan ward in Mesa so that we get that exposure. But yes, the answer is yes. Like, I do feel separated because I don't speak the language. And I feel like if I understood the language, I would be a different person.
Okay, as a white dude who goes and hangs out with you and your Tongan homies sometimes, and I drink some kava, I have always kind of felt like a little bit weird in those circles, right? Because I'll be sitting there and they'll have full-on conversations in Tongan, and I have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I got
absolutely.
So do you legit not know anything, or do you think you know like 15% of what they're saying? Or
I feel like I should know at least 15%, but I don't know. Like, there's words I catch, but in the Tongan language, there's so many things that mean the same thing.
Okay.
Like, you say one word and it can have 8 different meanings. So then I'll be like, oh, I know that word. Oh, but it doesn't mean mountain this time. It means something else. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what they're talking about. But to that, kids these days, I feel like they don't know what being bored is. Because I've gone to my grandma's house where they didn't speak any English, and I didn't speak any Tongan, and I just sat there and waited until my parents were done with their 2-hour conversation.
That's crazy. I mean, also it makes sense, but I'm just trying to imagine, like, I mean, my grandparents, all of them spoke English, so I could hang out with them. So, like, you must have had a very different relationship with your grandparents than I did with mine.
Yeah. It's just patience.
Yeah.
Well, like, just like everything, you go in, you're going to learn something.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. But I think that's what it taught me. It's like, if you just hang out long enough, you're going to learn something from people that you hang out with.
Are we going to learn Tongan together?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
You know, I don't know if you know this. I live with some Tongans on my mission, and so like you know,
What are their names?
Oh, bro. Vilea. One of them was Vilea.
Come find this guy.
I don't know what his first name was. Elder Vilea.
Elder Violet.
He had the biggest biceps I've ever seen in my life.
What year was this?
This was 2006 to 2008. So probably like 2007, 2008, something like that.
San Jose Mission?
No, Oakland.
Oakland,
yeah. And then I can't remember. Oh, one of them was Taisal. No, that would no. I think that's a Samoan name. Taisali. Anyways, I can't remember. Oh, one of my first companions was Vanisi, Alexander Vanisi. He was dope, dude. He was freaking cool.
From where?
He was from West Valley. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like, and what's funky about that though is that like I kind of took it on myself to learn the Tongan language. Like, I bought the Tongan books to learn the language, and they would like take me to all the weddings and stuff. And so like that's the first experience I had with Tongans, and I loved it because they were super nice, and they were I never experienced that where like you would walk up to a house and they would just invite you in and just feed you until you were gonna pop. You know what I mean? And like I was a skinny little white guy. I was 130 pounds on a good day. You know what I mean? And they were just like, "Come in." They were probably like, "Well, he's not going to eat very much, so might as well give him as much food as he wants."
They're like, "This guy's starving."
Is he Ethiopian? Yeah, I mean So like I learned like some Tongan, right? Like I always drop this line whenever I'm around Tongans. I was like, I would say like, "Oku ako lea whakatonga," right? It means like, "Oh, I'm studying the language of Tonga," right? But I'm not studying it anymore. I don't know. You know, someone's gonna call me out on it one of these days, and I'm gonna be like,
"Oh, how long you been studying?"
20 years.
Slow reader.
My bad. So sorry.
Well, so when you're telling that story, it reminded me of at the first Valley of the Roots when you try to buy a T-shirt.
Oh man, dude! I walked in like a just a young buck. I had no idea what was going on, but I wanted to support. Right? I was like, these people put on like a big event,
yeah,
and they invited me, or I suppose you invited me,
yeah.
But that was like, I thought it was like so kind. And so I thought, I got to support them. And so they had these T-shirts, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go buy a T-shirt. So I go up to the little table where they had the T-shirts, and I asked the ladies that were manning it. I said, "Oh yeah, I'd like a large." Actually, I wonder if back then I asked for a medium. I might have asked for a medium. I've grown since then.
Like, we don't have kid sizes.
Yeah, my bad. They're like, "Yeah, we only have extra large."
No, 2X.
Was it 2X? It might have been 2X, man. So I bought a 2X, and you know, I wear it every once in a while. I'm like drowning in it, but it's a good time.
Yes,
it's a good time. Hey, question for you.
Yes.
So you haven't been around. I know this is a hard segue, hard turn from here.
Okay.
You haven't been around this much kava before, right?
I don't think anybody has been around this much kava before.
Okay.
Like, if you can see what's behind us.
It's getting dark. I'm curious how much the cameras can pick up, but
that's acres and acres of kava.
Yeah.
From, what was the last planting? 3 months? 3 months to 5 years is what we have behind us?
Yeah. So I have a question. As a Tongan, right? Obviously, kava comes from the Tongan language. It means bitter. It's like, it's ingrained in your culture. It's everything, as far as I understand, it's like everything about, you know, the foundations of the Tongan culture comes from kava. So when you see these plants now, and like you kind of understand where it came from, like what are the emotions that you feel. Like, do you feel any sort of connection to the actual plant itself?
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. So when I'm around kava, right, and it's a good kava, it's nice, smooth when it goes down, and then it comes back and it kicks you. It's like, hey, remember you drank me, right? That's when I feel, right? And then when I see these plants out here, and I've seen the way that you've cared for these plants, I get that same feeling, that same, my man. There we go.
To be fair, it's not me, right? It's like guys that, they're graduates of UH, right? They're like really smart dudes. I don't know how to garden or farm or anything, right? But I mean, you got to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
I bring it up because when Mike, my good buddy Mike, he started his little patch just a couple miles up the road. I didn't understand kava until he passed away. And I knew that he had these 100 plants that were down the road, and I knew that his blood, sweat, and tears were inside of those plants, right? He had like all of his energies into making sure that like these plants survived, right?
Yeah.
And then I think, okay, this is like 3,000 years of history of your ancestors doing that, right? And now Mike is a part of that.
Yeah.
Right? He's now one of the ancestors that helped, at least for our plants here, like he's inside of these plants, every single one of these plants. We got 15,000 plants now that are all Mike's. And so I guess my question to you is, you might not have been raised in Tonga. You might not speak the language, but do you feel any sort of connection to your ancestors from the plant itself or from the drink itself?
Well, yes, because, and you can fill everybody in, like, how does kava make it from one place to another?
Canoes. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because like you can't take a kava seed somewhere,
No.
and plant it and it grows. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, so Ed Johnston down the road, he's like kind of my kava guru, right? He said and says that kava is an invention of the South Pacific peoples, right? Like it is, without them, we would not have kava today, right? It's got flowers, it doesn't have seeds. Because we've been, not we, you guys have been taking cuttings over and over and over again for 3,000 years. And without you doing that, we would not have kava today. So this really is a representation of people. It's not really a representation of just plants. It's actually a representation of people and their migrations, right? Because we can see
where they went.
Exactly. It's pretty wild. It's like a crazy story.
Well, because it's not like, when they talk about the continental drift, right? You can see like, oh, on this coast is the same as this coast, and they're separated now. It was like, you're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And then this place only has this, and this place only has this, and the only way that this can get to there is by somebody taking it and cutting it and putting it there.
It's bonkers.
Yes. So the answer is yes. I feel connected because I know what it takes to grow the kava.
Yeah.
But this is amazing, bro.
Dude, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad I'm here too.
Dude, yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I feel like this podcast is going to be pretty cool because I think that you offer a unique perspective, a unique American Polynesian perspective that I can't offer, right? Mm. I'm just a white guy. I've been drinking kava for 12 years. I know something about kava, but I don't really have like that sort of cultural background, right? And so I feel like that's the main piece that I'm missing. And I think that that's the thing that like really, there's like a mosquito on my microphone. But I feel like that's the main piece that really drew me into kava. Because way back when, right, when I first started drinking it, I knew that it was a drink that kind of helped relax you and helped calm you down. But I didn't really fall in love with it until I understood the story. And I feel like the story of kava is the coolest part.
Yeah.
I don't know of another product where the story of the history of kava and how like the people brought it to us for thousands of years. I'm not aware of anything else that is that like poignant or foundational of any culture.
Yeah, well, okay. So we had talked about this before, right? And so when they're coming from Tonga to Samoa to Tahiti to Hawaii, like you're loading up the boat with important things.
Yeah.
And how kava made it on there is amazing, because like we're like, hey, what do? They took kava to Hawaii and planted it and say, hey, I'll be back in 5 years.
Who knows, man?
Yeah.
I think it's insane that people were like, yo, this island sucks. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I've never understood that. Like, I've never had the courage to go like, I'm gonna just, all of this stuff I don't like, right? At some point they had to be like, yo, this whole island, all you people, I hate you. I'm gonna fill my canoe with all sorts of stuff, a bunch of food, some medicine, some kava, and I hope I find some more islands because I'm out.
Yeah.
That's a wild thing to do.
Well, I don't know if it was more driven off of like hate or just be tired of, but it was like, I think it was more for the wonder, right? It's like, hey man, if we're out here, who else is out here? Or what else is there to see? Because like me, first time being on the Big Island, it's an interesting place because, you know, we're driving to Hilo and there's the gullies and gulches and whatever you want to call it, and then you got a mountain that's carved out for the road, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
So many different cultures just here.
Yeah. Yeah, it might not have been hate.
Yeah.
That's just what I imagine, because I don't know why else you would leave an island and like risk your life to hopefully find something else. But yeah, maybe it was a Christopher Columbus sort of like, I think there's something else out there and I'm going to go find it, right? Like that could have very well have been it. But they did that a lot.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you think of how many thousands of islands there are throughout the South Pacific, they did that a lot. It's bonkers, man. I can't understand it. All right, well, look, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, we're getting eaten alive.
We don't know what this podcast is called. Maybe it's Behind the Bowl.
Behind the Bowl.
Behind the Bowl with Gilbert Gallahar and Morgan Smith.
There
all right. Go. Tune in. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
And Morgan will do most of the talking for the next podcast. Be ready.
Hit the old likes and subscribes and all that fun stuff. Hit us with some comments. Tell us about how Gilbert's a beautiful man.
Or tell us how, like, your thoughts on kava, because everybody's thoughts on kava is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how they mix.
Do it all, people.
And we want to come visit you. You got a kalapu? We're coming.
Let's go.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
All right, peeps.